So when Mario Kart World was revealed, that $80 price tag got a bit of a negative reaction. And sure, the trailers look nice and all, and we get account for higher development costs and inflation, but $80? What if I told you that you don't have to pay $499 to get your hands on the best car racing game out there? Now, debating on which is the best of anything can get heated pretty quickly. Everybody has their own personal favorite. Most would probably vote for Mario Kart, for example, but today, I'm serving up a different opinion. Crash Team Racing is actually the best car racing game out there. CTR Nitro-fueled is actually a remake of the 1999 original Crash Team Racing. I mean, it's labeled as a remaster, but I personally think it's much more than that. It packs all the content from the original, plus goodies from Crash Nitro Kart and Crash Tag Team Racing. Does anybody else remember that one? Additionally, tossing in a heap of shiny, brand new content for good measure. Let's kick things up with its single player, which is far bigger than you might expect. For starters, it has a full-on story mode. You're up against Nitro Oxide, self-proclaimed fastest racer in the galaxy. He's seeking a challenge and threatens to turn the planet into a massive parking lot if nobody on Earth can best him in a race. Even though he's far from the biggest challenge this game's gonna throw at you. We'll begin our journey in Crash Cove, needing to snag all gold trophies in all 4 races to unlock all bosses, so we can prove we're the planet's mightiest racer. If you have played any other Crash Bandicoot game, there's a chance you'll recognize most, if not all of the bosses. They have their own little cinematic and all. Some love spamming items behind them, so to avoid a headache, take the lead early. Now, maybe CTR doesn't have a big, sprawling open world, but it is very much interconnected. Beat a boss, earn a key, and unlock a new section, allowing you to seamlessly move from one area to the next. Want to speedrun the game? Well, on top of having to master each track, you gotta get good at driving through the map. And I still haven't even mentioned relic races are kinda like time trials. Item boxes are replaced with time crates. Smash them to freeze the clock for the number of seconds displayed on the crate. If you nail every single one of them, 10 whole seconds will be shaved off your total time. CTR challenges, meanwhile, have you hunting for the CTR letter tokens hidden in the track. Some letters can be easily spotted at shortcuts, for example, and some you really need to get out of your way to get them. Or I guess you could say, out of the track. They're especially important because they unlock the gem cups, which act similarly to cups in other games and hide cool secrets and unlocks. So if you don't like playing as Crash Bandicoot, for example, you can play the gem cups and unlock fake Crash Bandicoot. Additionally, we have the crystal collecting challenges. Let me show you how you beat these ones. Now, I think it's time we talk about difficulty. A big part of CTR is drifting / power sliding, but more specifically, boosting. When you begin to drift, a bar on the bottom right corner of your screen will start to fill up. Time a button press just right at its near full, and you'll get a perfect boost. Go a little too late or too early, and you get nothing. However, you need to nail this 3 times in a row to get the biggest boost in speed. This all ties to a hidden mechanic called reserves. Basically a hidden tank that stores your nitro. Keep drifting throughout the race and you'll preserve your flame even through straightaways. Of course, landing from jumps and boost pads will also assist you on keeping your speed. Now, go too long without drifting, hit a wall or get hit by an item, which will happen very often, and you'll say bye-bye to your reserves. Which would be especially detrimental if you lose blue flames. A speed so fast is not even on every track. But not all blue flames are created equally, and some genuinely feel faster than others. To be honest, there's a few things the game doesn't really explain all that well, or at all, so have fun figuring it all out. But that does raise a question: with tracks full of hazards and sharp corners, how are you supposed to maneuver around them at Mach 20 speed without directly crashing into a wall? Well, that's where the famous U-turning technique comes in. Release the gas, hold the brake, press down on the D-pad plus the direction you want to go, and bam, you're U-turning. It is most commonly performed in the air, so either during a big jump or by hopping repeatedly. You can also perform a U-turn while on the ground by pressing brake and down on the D-pad at the same time, and then steer to whatever direction you need to go. But if you botch it, you'll just brake and lose all of your speed. For some tracks, you simply need to U-turn if you want any chance to win a race or get a good time in the time trial. And speaking of which, I'm pretty sure I've spent more time in the time trials than I have in pretty much every other single-player mode combined. I don't know, the pursuit of mastery and beating your best time by a little bit, even if it's just by a second, is so fun. Compete against yourself in 3 different challenge ghosts: Entropy, Oxide, and Emperor below the 27th. Want to play as those characters? Well, you'll have to beat their ghost on every single track to unlock them. And maybe you don't struggle with any of them. Maybe you're just that good. Well, for you, the game has one more card under its sleeve. Developer time trials. These are arduous, soul-crushing, restart 50 times kind of challenges. But if you somehow manage to beat every single one, you'll unlock the ultimate flex online, the Master Wheels. Admittedly, top players are faster than these, though there's a few really fast step times. Me? Well, I've not beaten a single one yet. I was so close. And there's 39 of them in total? Yeah, maybe someday. And I know that may not sound like a lot compared to the whopping 96 tracks from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it still comfortably sits on top of games like Sonic Racing Transformed, Nicktoons Racing, Garfield Kart, and Little Big Planet Karting, I guess, if you want to take that into consideration. But that is not all the content this game has to offer. You can select between a great variety of paint jobs, car bodies, wheels, stickers, and a whopping 51 characters to match. Yeah, take that, Mario Kart.
Oh no!
Coming from a variety of the Crash Bandicoot games, even some that are not very popular. But don't worry, most of this won't be nearly as hard to unlock as the Master Wheels. In fact, most of it can be unlocked simply by purchasing it directly in the store. Hold on. You might see the Activision logo and immediately think, oh no, this is about to be another game riddled with microtransactions, and I don't blame you. But no, you don't have to spend a single dollar to get cool skins or cars in this game. Everything on the pit stop is attainable by just playing. They did add the ability to spend money to buy more Wumpa coins, the currency of this game, sometime after its release. After they said they wouldn't, but it's Activision, what do you expect? In all honesty, it's not intrusive at all, and you can completely ignore this and just get the Wumpa coins from racing and completing challenges. There's a pretty decent amount of single-player modes to keep you occupied. Personal favorite of mine is the Ring Rally. The goal is simple: drive through the color-changing rings to score the most points, and it's a race against the clock. But you'll add time for every ring you pass through, so you can imagine how bad it is to miss a single ring. Oh, and they become smaller every lap as you get faster. It's a lot of fun, especially on tracks that clearly were not meant for you to go this fast. For these reasons, I very much think it's worthwhile buying CTR in 2025, even if you mostly stick to single player. Getting the hang of the mechanics and improving your skills is a lot of fun. But sadly, no game is perfect, not even CTR. Most of the things I have to say about this game are positive, as you could already tell, but I want to be genuine and acknowledge some of its shortcomings. The main thing for me is the multiplayer. It's kind of not entirely alive, which I guess is expected for a game released in 2019 that has gotten no new updates in like 5 years. And yes, I know, it could be better. You can still find matches, but it'll be tough to get a full lobby, and the game sadly never received some highly requested online features like online cups and crossplay, which I think would have helped tremendously the longevity of the game. Also, some of the tracks are a bit narrow, which isn't an issue in time trials, but it definitely is on races. Speaking of races, due to the speed and general skill gap of the game, getting hit by an item and losing your flame can easily mean getting knocked out of the race entirely, plus the items are generally not as powerful as they are in other racing games, specifically not as combat mechanics, so CTR is definitely not as much of a party game like Mario Kart is, for example. But as somebody who played this game on its heyday, I can tell you it was an absolute blast racing online and grinding for the Grand Prix content. Now, what is a Grand Prix, you may ask? Well, they are limited time events featuring a theme like, I don't know, Spyro, for example, and they would bring a batch of new content, such as one track following the Grand Prix theme, and most importantly, new characters. Now, if it reminds you of a battle pass, that's because it basically is a battle pass. Of course, they were free, since you already had paid for the game, though I guess Activision doesn't really care about that anymore. And every Grand Prix had a cool animated intro in the style of those 90s TV sports news broadcasts like ESPN, I think anyway. I don't know, I never watched any of them.
Hi, I'm Chick.
I'm on fire! real, man.
And that is Stu. Now today we've got a very special guest. I hope the drivers are ready because he's sure to make sparks fly.
This little head-button, tail-whipping, fire-spewing purple dragon is gonna light up their day.
I'm fired up and ready to go.
It really makes me miss the days when this game was still getting updates, speculating on which character would be added next, and eagerly awaiting for the new content. The official Crash Bandicoot account tweeted to celebrate the 10 million units sold by CTR. Impressive on its own, but even more impressive when we consider that CTR never got a PC release. Even Xbox, the current owners of the Crash IP, took notice. Does this mean we'll get a CTR follow-up? I sure hope so, but definitely not soon if we get one at all. While a sequel feels like a distant dream, the unrealized potential of Nitro-fueled still stings a little. But I very much recommend this game. If you're not super sure, give it a spin on Game Pass. You will not be disappointed by this crown jewel of the racing genre.